Jeff, we haven't heard from you.
Yeah, I had some phone call. Yeah,
Uh,
But he's back now, ain't he?
yeah.
I'm I'm partly here.
Because you're not all there.
Yeah,
I got you first on that one.
yeah. But I did write something, but I don't know. It might be a little. It may sound esoteric, but it actually isn't.
Well, give it up.
Yeah, right. Give it up.
I got to figure out how to do this. Are you guys still there?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, ah, just a second. Well, I don't know. This is this is someone wrote what it means to explore the deeper realms within us, and I first had to describe what I mean by explore. So, can you hear me all right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I wrote, I'm glad you asked your questions. Sometimes I say things and I know what I'm talking about, but I haven't made it clear to others. One thing I should explain is what I mean by exploring. For most people, their awareness or consciousness is riveted to their mind, and they can only see through the lens of the mind. They can't explore outside the city limits, so to speak. They can know the vast, superficial realms of thoughts, ideas, beliefs, and theories, but they are one remove away from emotions, desires, and feelings of the heart. They can look down on these happenings in the heart, but for the most part, they can't get to the emotions, desires, and feelings and experience them directly. To do that, the bolts that rivet the awareness to the mind have to be pulled out. Baba performs this task sometimes with a sledgehammer. Then the awareness, unriveted from the head, can come down and experience whatever is happening in the heart more directly. Erich has said that one is blessed when this happens. This is an invaluable advance, but after some time, however, one discovers there are impediments to a deeper exploration into the innermost realms of the heart. This is because the awareness is enmeshed in emotions, desires, and feelings. It sees primarily through the lens of these impulses. It can explore the deeper realms of the heart, but only through the blurred vision of the emotions, desires, and feelings. However, the awareness can't go beyond the city limits of these experiences. What has to happen? Awareness has to break free of seeing through the distorted lens of these impulses in order to penetrate further into the depths of the heart. Baba eventually makes that happen in us so that the awareness is freed to really explore deeper and deeper into the heart until it reaches the innermost realm of the spirit, Baba's loving presence, which is timeless and spaceless. Consciousness or awareness is able, briefly at first, but then more and more abidingly over time, to step out of time and space into the realm of the spirit. Eventually, one's own consciousness merges for longer and longer periods of time in Baba's loving consciousness until one merges in him forever. Baba can guide us on this journey consciously or, as he has said, under the veil, and we are unaware of this process and be unaware of this process. Ultimately, the birthday cake arrives, but we're not there to enjoy it. We ain't got no body left to eat it. Now, when our awareness, this is another question. Now, when our awareness or consciousness is freed from the encumbrances of the mind, emotions, desires, and feelings, it can go deep into the innermost realm of the heart, as I mentioned. And what will it find there? The divine qualities, such as empathy, love, forgiveness, patience, humor, generosity, and tenderness, that flow into this innermost realm from the source of divine love, who is yours truly, Baba. If we follow the stream of any of these divine qualities back to their source, using our liberated awareness, we wind up at the tavern sipping his rare divine wine. When the sun passes through a prism, it is refracted into many colors. Likewise, when divine love passes through the prism of this world, it is refracted into an exquisite variety of divine qualities. Following any one of these qualities, we arrive at divine love, finally.
Wow.
I don't know if that, I mean, it sounds kind of esoteric.
It's very good.
Where is that from, Jeff?
That's from Jeff Wolverton.
I wrote a,
Oh,
I was responding to a letter that someone wrote.
Oh my goodness.
Jeff, you have the emails now. You can
What's
mail
that?
it to us. You have the set of emails that you can forward that to if you can.
Say that again?
You remember we asked you for some code the other day you read, and then you mailed it to us. If you can mail this as well, it would be
Yeah.
great.
Well, I mean, were you able to follow that? I mean, I just sat down on the sofa here and typed that. I mean, does it get lost? I mean, I'm just reading it.
Read it again.
We would have to
thought it
read
was
it
pretty
again.
clear, Jeff.
Yeah.
You
What's
made
that?
perfect sense to me, but go ahead and have to read it again if you have to. But
No,
it's
I mean,
right on.
I don't have to, but Ruth, did that?
I would have to.
Could you send it to us?
Yeah, I could do it. I did
That
that.
would be so nice, Jeff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's very clear.
I loved it. Thank you.
It's
Yeah.
very clear. His
What
love
was
is
it?
here to stay.
Was that clear enough?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's the journey
Yes.
through the heart.
Yasmin wants to know when your book is coming out of these nuggets of wisdom.
No, but
I
the
mean, this
question
is
is
all
how to-
this is all what I gathered from the mandali and my own experience, you know. I mean, I was there with my begging bowl, going around from mandali member to mandali member. Yeah. Shamelessly.
Yeah, we feel it.
Thank goodness you were.
Yeah.
Thank goodness.
And his begging bowl grew and grew and grew.
But
And then one day it was so full that he just swallowed everything. And it became part of who he is.
there's a poem there, Fairstay.
And that's how it was.
Yeah. No, I'll try to look at it and see if I can. Yeah.
Send it.
Oh,
Jeff,
yeah. You know what I
your
could do?
begging, Jeff, your begging bowl is full of Baba's love and Baba's
Yeah.
grace, and which is pouring to others also. You.
Mm. Well,
Yeah.
if that only works if Baba elbows me aside, because, like I say, in my own self, I'm selfish, but Baba helps out.
Yeah, me too. I know.
Well, this is how it is. We go to those who knew the God-man. So here we are.
That's why we're reading Help Me There.
I mean, this is a process that's going on in each of us, whether we're conscious of it or not. This is what conscious of it or not. But this is what Baba is
Yes.
doing. And I think
Assimilating it is one thing, and then cooking it enough internally, working with it enough internally that it comes out as truth from the mouth. That's yet another.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, we're. But anyway.
it's a process. I think we're a work in progress.
Yeah, yeah.
God willing.
For
Yep.
sure. Absolutely.
I think we're going to get to a place that's a little bit, in some ways, like early childhood.
Mm.
You know, very expansive and
Oh gosh,
joyous.
not nice.
Some
J
days are
Bob,
like that.
everyone.
And then some days are like the despair poem I wrote 2 days ago.
Hey, I don't see Alan though. Alan is just kind of ducked out.
Yeah, today. Yeah, not today.
But you know what I could do is I could make you Prakash, you sent me some of those emails last time.
Right.
I could maybe do. I may take a look at it again. I just
No, that sounded very good. I mean, I don't know if I do what you just said, but
Don't ruin it, Jeff.
it's just beautiful. Yeah.
You know, because it goes from the heart then to the mind, and then you'll engineer it. It's
Yeah.
beautiful and it's pure as is. It's great.
you could,
Listen to Fetishta.
She
Yeah.
knows.
yeah.
No, but I think, Jeff, like you said, I don't know, some could be aware of that thing happening inside. Some probably would not be that aware of whatever is happening.
That's true.
But the process might still go on, irrespective of whether you know it or not.
That's right. I mean, it's getting consciousness, I mean, Darwin used to talk about withdrawing the tentacles of consciousness, not only from the world, but from the mind, body, and heart. And when the consciousness is, even though it's outside of body, mind, and heart, it's fully aware of body, mind, and heart. It's no longer identified with it. So when it's off to the side, so to speak, it starts to fill up with love and presence and beauty and everything. Once it's kind of taken out of its entrapment, you might say, in all of these things. Once it's kind of more liberated in the timeless realm, it fills up, and it's eventually. There's a beautiful line from Rumi about merging. He said, "My beloved and I are not different. We are like two lanterns set out side by side in the night. We appear to be separate, but see, our light is one."
Mm.
Oh gosh.
My beloved and I are not different. There's no difference between the beloved and myself. I think this starts out. There's no difference between the beloved and myself. We are like two lanterns set out side by side in the night. We appear to be separate, but see, our light is one. In other words, the light that you have in your room right now might be made up of 3 lamps, but they only produce one light. I don't know if that makes sense. That's where he's the image. I'm here at the gateway, and there are 4 lamps going on right here, but they only produce one light.
And that's the soul.
Yeah.
Yay.
Well, it looks like some of the usual
Lovely.
tavern habitués are here. Natharine is here. Pia is here. Payam is here. Dinku is here. Yasmin, Janaki, Dorothy. I don't know which Dorothy this is.
Maybe Dorothy Cassidy.
It's Dorothy Cassidy, most likely.
Really? Oh,
yeah, she told me she comes.
Oh, I never knew that was what Dorothy. I thought it might be Dorothy, but we haven't heard a peep out of her.
No, I think she's having a problem with the computer. I don't know.
Oh.
I tried to tell her how to do it.
Uh-huh,
You
okay.
know how to unlock the video so she could be seen, but maybe she doesn't want to.
Look at Pam with her hat.
I don't.
Cute.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
that's what I should do. I should wear a hat to hide my terrible haircut.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
not terrible.
Yeah,
It's cute.
No, so, yeah, anyway, anybody have any
Words
possible
of wisdom.
food to bring?
I don't have any words of wisdom.
But any stories or anything? Yeah.
Story, maybe. I don't know. Let's see.
Oh, I feel so much better.
Ah, okay, there she is with her solar tope.
Awesome.
It doesn't look like you. It looks different.
Happy
Yeah.
trails to you.
No, I like it a lot. This is gonna be my Jeff late night hat.
Well, I don't know. I let's see. I mean, we'll have to stir up the pot and see
I want one.
what happens.
Where do I get it?
Here is something from, sorry, Rumi,
Yeah.
very small one. It goes, we have a huge barrel of wine, but no cups. That's fine with us. Every morning we glow, and in the evening we glow again. They say there is no future for us. They are right, which is fine with us. I really don't understand this. I just read it. But,
Yeah.
yeah, I read again. Maybe it makes sense when we read it the second time. It says, we have a huge barrel of wine, but no cups. That's fine with us. Every morning we glow, and in the evening we glow again. They say there is no future for us. They're right, which is fine with us. That's where it stops.
Yeah. Well, there isn't any future. You can't get out of the now. That's the trouble.
Oh, that's
We're
good.
trapped.
Yeah,
The future is just the human imagination.
yeah, that's truly. Oh, okay. That makes sense.
There's
Get
no
out.
future. You mean there's no future if you're living in the present?
And is there a moment that when you were not in the present? Marilyn, see if you can get out of the present. We want to witness this.
Jeff, when I'm in my head, I'm not in the present. So hello.
Well, you're in your head in the present.
Well, no, if the mind is preoccupied, then you're not in the present, right? Bob
Well,
is,
you're still in the present, but you're not experiencing it very, very fully.
that's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
That's the truth.
Henry Cashowdy used to say, "Is there any other time than the present?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I
a key.
see it. The now.
You know, I'll tell you something about Henry Cashowdy.
Thank you, Baba.
He was he met Baba in 1956 for the first time, and he had a great connection with Baba. We met Baba in New York and also down here at the center. He and his wife Keisha. Some of you have heard this when he went all the way up to New York from Virginia Beach to meet Baba in 1956, and they got to the place. I think it might have been Ivy Deuce's apartments, and Baba was in one room and people were in a waiting room outside. And when he was waiting outside with Keisha, but Keisha got the idea she wanted to go out shopping in the city, and Henry just like, God is in the other room. You're going to go shopping? It just like frustrated the heck out of him, you know, and he tried to plead her, stay here, you know, but she went off and went shopping. And in the meantime, he was called in. You know, they were called in, but she wasn't there. So he went in and he had this very intimate time with Baba and everything. And then came out after his time. And then she arrived with her packages from the city. And she was like upset that he went in there without her, you know? And so there's this, they're going at it, you know, like, I think they're probably being as courteous as they can and everything, but there's real mental conflict going on between them. And while that's going on, Baba calls them in. You know, their names are called and they go in. And Baba goes like this. He goes, you know, oh my God, what a fight, a headache, you know. He makes that gesture. And you know, Keisha said that Baba was like looking at, you might say figuratively, like looking at the moon. But when Baba looked away from you, you were like in the dark side of the moon. I mean, she was, when Baba would look from her to Henry, she felt such profound jealousy, like never before. And she was just meeting Baba for the first time. Hey, Erwin Luck. Fantastic.
Are we
No
Hey.
way.
I'm going to finish this and then maybe we can get a story out of Erwin
Yeah.
Luck.
Yeah.
So far, he can't talk. So anyway, so here's the interesting thing. They come down to Myrtle Beach, and he, in 56, he had a great experience with Baba, and he felt such closeness and everything. Then he came in 58, and, you know, Baba was in the lagoon cabin, but days went by, Baba never called him and never called him. And he was like, this was really upsetting. You know, he would go back to his hotel in town and days went by and Baba didn't call him. Finally, in this very upset state, he said, if Baba doesn't call me, he must not want to see me, and I should be happy with that. And immediately a call came into the city, and he went. Bob was calling him to the lagoon cabin.
Because he accepted Baba's will.
Yeah, he said, Baba must not want to see me, and I accept that. And the moment he came to that realization, the phone rang, and he was called to the center. Hey, but Erwin, can you hear us?
I want to tell you one thing, Jeff.
Yeah.
And everybody, when Henry came to New York Mayor Baba House quite a long time ago, he needed a place to stay. So he stayed with me in Queens. And that was, I don't know what year. It's really funny because I've just been going through my photos and stuff, and I just found a picture of him sitting in the living room with a group of Baba lovers. He was he was talking, and he was hysterical though. When he stayed over, I remember he was great to be around, and he made me laugh anyway. That's all. I don't want to.
Yeah. Well, let's see. We got Erwin here. Erwin, you know, there are only about 30 people left in America who met Baba.
Erwin and Judy.
Erwin, can you hear us, Erwin?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Good, we can hear you.
Yeah.
Hey, anything you feel like sharing, you have the floor.
Well, Jeff, Erwin is talking tomorrow.
Well,
be
he
speaking-
can talk tonight.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm just saying. He's a
I talk both day and night.
Yeah.
In preparation for tomorrow. He can practice on us.
Erwin, you actually can talk at night as well.
That's right. I can talk in the day. I can talk in the night. And I was trying out the Zoom to
Yeah.
see if I would be able to do it, because tomorrow at 10 o'clock, they want me to give a talk for about an hour. And I have some really good things to say. And I'm going to speak then. That'll be part one. The following Saturday will be part 2. They divided me up into parts.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
Yes.
you kind of split personality, kind of one
How many
One the
people
other.
are on the Zoom right now?
yeah,
Is it just what we see here? 3, 4, 5? 5 people?
18.
Yeah, totally
18 people.
Uh-huh. I see. There's
Hey.
more. Okay.
You have to kind of scroll your screen and see everybody.
Oh, I'm very unfamiliar with
Oh,
this.
are we
here.
at the circle of friends?
Oh, I see. Here it is.
Upper
Yeah.
upper right
Yeah, I
corner.
see the screen.
Upper right corner. It says.
Yeah, I
Oh,
see it. I
good.
see it now. Well, I will say one thing, and that is that in those days when Baba was in the body and he was very communicative, no one ever thought about his mandali. The mandali were just there to serve him. That was nothing, no focus on them, whatever. That didn't happen until after he dropped his body, because once he dropped his body, then everybody wanted to know, well, what happened when you were with him? And they began to share their experiences. But prior to that, the focus was totally on him. There was nothing about anyone else. In fact, one time when I received a letter from the mandali, which were mainly being used just to convey what Baba wanted each of us to know, or whoever he was wanting to write to. At that time, I began to feel more honored or appreciative of the disciple. And Baba didn't like that. He said, no, focus on me. I'm the one here. I'm the one that has to free you, liberate you. You just don't look at them, except for receiving the communications and like that. Now, it's true. We respected each other. There was no question about that. But not to focus on them or look at them as someone that was going to be guiding you or helping you. Now, nowadays, it's a different story, because after he dropped his body, well, they were the ones that lived with him and could tell stories and share their experiences. So people would go in to meet them and visit them, and it was very, very nice to do like that. But they never took anything upon themselves, because that was only someone that is enlightened and fully God realized that could take on what other people's problems were. So this was the way it was in those days. Now, there's hardly anybody left to go to, as you so nicely pointed out.
Yeah.
If there's 30 of us,
Yeah.
well, maybe there is about that many. But you have to look at the entire world. You can't just look at Myrtle Beach or just in the States alone.
Yeah. Hey, Erwin, tilt your computer a little bit. We're not seeing the lower part of your face.
Oh, is that right? You
Yeah.
see, I can't see myself. Let me see.
Can I
Yeah.
tell you something?
Push
Yeah,
the other way. Tilt it the other way. Keep tilting. Keep tilting.
Forward.
like this?
Yeah, there you
Yeah,
are.
perfect.
Oh,
okay. I'll keep it like this. I'm sorry that you only saw half of me.
yeah.
But
Well, you're only. We're only going to hear half of you this week, anyway.
Were you able to see the mouth part moving, or just the
Yes.
top of
I
the
think
forehead?
Yeah.
I'm all discolored. I have a yellow light on, and I don't know what it.
It's the split personality thing,
Yeah.
Erwin. You're
Yeah.
doing it well.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
thank you.
Erwin, can you any stories? These people, some of these people are from India. Any stories that come to you from your times with Baba?
All of my time-
Also,
of my-
Erwin, before you go, there is a hand up. Dinku, did you have a question?
You're asking me?
No, Dinku from India.
She's one of the people there. She's going to ask you a question. Go ahead, Dinku.
All right. Go
You're
ahead.
muted. You're muted, darling.
Who, me?
No, Dinku.
Dinku. Yeah.
Oh,
She heard of Baba through the Dada Chanjis, I think it was.
I see. I see.
Omragars
Yeah.
also.
Well, you know, just to answer your question, all of my experience with Baba was in India, because that's where I went to see him. Every time I went, it was always where he was, which was in Guru Prasad in Pune in India. I didn't see him in Mehrabad or Meherzad. I didn't go there until afterwards when he left his body. Then I went to Mehrabad and spent about 3 months there at the Samadhi at the time when he left his body. And there's a whole slew of stories about that. I can't just start talking too much about that. But my seeing him was always in India. I never saw him in the US.
Yeah. Can you remember any kind of anything playful or humorous that he did with you?
He's worse than me. You know, I used to interview people all the time, asking them questions, one after the other. And now I'm on the other side of the
No, it's not.
Payback.
What happened when you?
well, well, if there's any specific or particular question that you have, if anybody has, then I'll address that. Otherwise, I'll just tell you something.
Well, Dinku, have you got? Can we hear you?
No, it's okay. I was
Yeah.
going to read out something from Rumi, but then I'd rather listen to Erwin just now.
Yeah. Okay. Erwin, go ahead.
Yeah. All right.
You're on.
Well, I think that what people might like to know about is the fact that when I came to Baba, I had an agenda. I didn't just come there to see him in his physical form. I came there because I wanted him to enlighten me, to show me God. This is what I was there for. And Baba knew very well what was in my mind. I mean, it was quite obvious, possibly. It's not like I just spoke it out and say, well, this is what you got to do for me. There was nothing like that. There was a lot of respect because Baba was so really warm and loving, and to be with him was like being with your family. That's how he was. He was truly a family avatar. He just, and you'll see it in the photos, you know, there's a lot of movies and photos where he was so natural with people to be, they wanted them to think of him as a most loving person in their family. And which reminds me, when he visited Pakistan, to Minu Karas' home, he would come and he would just visit. When he visited, he would go to the refrigerator and he'd take out whatever he thought he'd like, just like any family member would do. You go over to your refrigerator, you take what you like. He lay down in the room. He didn't care to lie on a bed, but he would lie down on a mat on the floor. He preferred that. And he was there so much where he wanted us to look at him as a friend, as more than a friend, just someone that you love in your family. Well, this reminded me of a story of this woman in Pakistan. It happened there when I was filming them. She starts to tell this story about what happened when Baba visited their home, which he would do whenever he came into Karachi. So he would come in, and sure enough, one day he says to the old lady, the mother, who's doing the dishes at the time, I'm so pleased with you that I want to give you anything you want. I'll grant you anything that you like. Anything that you want, I will grant it. Well, you don't often hear that from somebody that can actually do it. Well, so Baba said this to her, and she comes back with something that you would never expect anyone to say. She says, I want to know how you run your universe. She didn't ask for that the kids should get a better job, or that there should be more money, or if she would have a position, or she would look better, or none of these things. She wanted to know how he ran his universe. So she asked him that. Well, from that night on, she said that Baba would take her out and he would begin to show her different things in the cosmos and in the universe, and how and who was running what areas for him and what they were doing, and the powers and the kind of bliss that they would experience, the states of consciousness in the evolutionary life streams, the different life streams that there was that would advance on towards higher, towards more developed consciousness. The planes, showing her each of the planes and the subdivisions of the planes and what experiences there were and how the people function in those angelic levels. Oh boy, she was really being given a real beautiful, fantastic tour of the universe that Baba, the past, and going from the past to the future to the present, and just everywhere, and doing everything. And this went on for 2 years, she said. For 2 years, he would take her out each night and then show her something else. Well, after about 2 years, when Baba visited the home in his normal human state, she said to him, Baba, you have shown me everything about your universe, what you do and how you run it. But there's still one thing you didn't show me. So Baba said, tell me, you didn't show me yourself. Oh, when she said that, that was it. No more taking her out, never going anywhere like that again. It all stopped. Because now she asked the real thing, to see the reality, not the cosmic illusion and dream, not the whole cosmic universe anymore. Not what she wanted to see him, see who know him as he really is. So she said, Baba, you didn't show me yourself. And with that, that was the end of going out.
But did she see him again?
Yeah, well, Baba would visit, as he always was doing. That part kept happening, So that's the only story I'm going to tell you now.
That's amazing. I've never heard that before.
Yeah,
it's an incredible tale. It was only Lord Krishna that was given the sight of the Arjuna was given the sight of the divine Swarup, which is the universal body of God, the experience of the cosmic state of God. And it was too much for him. He couldn't hold that experience. It was too much. And he asked to be brought back again to a more normal state that he's used to. And Baba said that was something he shouldn't have done, actually, because he had to convince him in order to do that war, which Baba said to him, it's already been decided, but you have to go through the motions now. You got to do that war. You have to be victorious. So he didn't want to do that. In those days, it wasn't like it is now. If there was another village or another so-called town, there weren't that many people. It wasn't like huge populations like you see today. So there was a lot of families connected between the different villages and places. He didn't want to go and fight with them. He said he'd rather have them do what they want. But Lord Krishna said, no, you have to do this. This is something that has to be done. So because he wouldn't do it, he was shown the divine Swarup, universal body of God. Oh boy, when he saw that, then he realized Krishna was no ordinary person. He was the Lord of the universe, and now he was ready to do anything. But Baba said, no, he shouldn't have really done that. And that was not reality. That was the part of the dream, part of the cosmic illusion. But anyhow, that's what did happen. And now Baba doesn't give experiences because it's all illusion. You know, he's here to give you reality, not more illusion. When my brother Edward asked Baba about a certain dream that he had and certain foods that that Baba said in his dream that he should eat and certain things he should do, and then he wrote to Baba about this, and Baba said that to pay no attention to that, because he didn't come to create more dreams for us, but to wake us up from all dreaming. That was his reply. So he gave no validity after that to any foods or other things or whatever he thought Baba said in his dreams. And
Okay.
what?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Judy.
I thank you.
Judy is sitting here thanking me, and I'm saying you're welcome. All right. Well, anyhow, glad to be able to be part of your Zoom.
What a
Zoom
pleasant surprise. Thanks for
Yeah.
the visit.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
If there, any last thing you can think of, or have you?
Well, you know, the reason I got into the Zoom, I didn't know that even you were having this Zoom.
Yeah.
But I was testing it because tomorrow I'm supposed to talk. And
Yeah.
so I was trying to see if I could do it, you know, to operate it.
Yeah.
And then, you know, interestingly enough and happily enough, it turns out that you guys are all there.
Yeah. No, it was a nice fortuitous thing that happened.
One of the things I want to tell everybody that Jeff in India, when I would be there, he had these little inscriptions of quotes of Baba on little pieces of paper and would pass it around. So you always had what to think about. I mean, you're there for Baba, so this was really very good that, you know, he had these messages that Baba had said, and each person would be given one, you know, like that.
On New Year's. Or something.
Yeah, when we were there. We were there a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also miss his little note cards he would hand out at lunch at the
Yeah.
at the refectory.
Very nice. It kept people thinking more about Baba instead of just chit chat for the different things that we talk about.
That's what he does to us here on Late Nights with Jeff. He whips us into shape.
Yeah. Anytime, Erwin, anytime you want to show up around from 10:30 on.
Yeah.
Just tune in. You know, Judy can line up these.
Are you on every night at 10:30?
Not every night.
Not every night, but you know, people are all interested in hearing any stories about Baba, and you have a lot of times that you spent with Baba, and
tune in tomorrow. You know, if anybody wants to hear me, tune in tomorrow, because I'm really going to talk about some really important things that Baba lovers and people that are aspiring on the spiritual path have to be reminded about and have to understand. And it's not just how to behave and all of that. No, Baba wanted, you know, people to do the search. He wanted to bring us up to his level. And I'll talk about that tomorrow.
Before you go, Erwin, can I read you my despair poem?
Go ahead.
All right. You're going to cry now. You took all your light-bearing circle and left, leaving me here with nothing but hopelessness and grief. And Baba comes right in. He chimes right in. He says, give up everything and focus on obtaining your God. There is no remedy for your illness in this world. So I continue. What is left here for me now but the ocean and the sand, faded memory of your dream touch, and a constantly weeping heart? Naked, empty, unable to find lasting peace, I roam and roam in a desolate landscape, void of real love. Why do you throw sand in my face? Why do you wish to hurt my heart? Why don't you just kill it, make it numb and anesthetized? What pleasure do you get from seeing me like this? Which lover treats their beloved like this? How can I keep wading and drowning in this circular river of my tears?
Now, Erwin will be able to, he'll be able to send the remedy.
Tomorrow.
He's got it on the sofa there.
Did Baba tell
Well,
you?
I'll just say this, that it's a very, very good poem because it really is indicative of what so many people feel in their pursuit for God. Now I'll tell you something else. When you go to sleep at night, you enter into the non-dual state of existence. When you go into sound sleep and there is no consciousness of anything, you don't know even who you are. You don't even know up or down. There is no, in a dreamless sleep, you don't even have the dream. You're in pure unconsciousness. There is nothing. You are in the state of nothing. And yet no one fears that they're going to have to go into the nothing state every night and come, and then they think in terms, well, maybe I'll come back. How do you know you'll come back? You know, it's always no fear. You go into nothing. There are no friends, there's no enemies, there's no family, there's nothing. There's no you that you're conscious of. You are there, but not conscious. Okay, now what does Baba say? He says he has to take us out of the mind into the non-dual state that he exists in. He exists in non-duality, fully conscious. So what does he experience then? Infinite bliss. He experiences himself being everywhere and everything. We don't even have the shadow of an idea of what it's like to be everywhere and everything, because that is our destiny. Believe it or not, this is the destiny. You have to become one with everything, which is not our experience now, and we don't even have a glimmer of an idea of what it would be like to be one with everything. But just the same, that is where we're heading, under the wing of the avatar, who has to bring us up to his level. When he says he brings us up to his level, it is not our level, it is his level. And that is the level where you experience that unlimited bliss and love and truth, and you know everything as it really is. I mean, you're not in any, there's never any such thing as fear and hopelessness and all of the things, positive and negative, that we're experiencing. But when you say you want God, this is what you're wanting. You're wanting to get to that state that Baba is in. I'll tell you more about that tomorrow. But the thing is, the search for God is not just, oh, I'm so sad that I don't have God, you know, or he's going to free me from all my problems. Well,
Erwin,
to
all
be
we can
said
see is
over
your
it,
forehead.
What?
All we
What'd
can
you
see
say?
is your forehead. Now you can see your eyebrows. Oh,
Yes.
there you are.
Oh,
Till now.
okay.
Till you can
Yeah, I'm glad you tell me because I can't tell looking at it like this. You know, maybe there is a way of telling. I don't know.
No, this is
Now,
good.
Yeah.
don't you see yourself in the one of
Oh,
those
I
windows?
see. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Wait. I
Yeah,
can
yeah.
see now. I can see myself in the
Yeah.
upper thing.
And then you
I
can
never
adjust.
Yeah.
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 And now I can see myself. Otherwise, all you can see is my forehead or my mouth or something.
Ah.
All right. Anyhow,
Good night.
I don't want to keep talking that much. Everybody is there. They want to
That's nice.
contribute.
Thank you.
Well, it's great to hear you.
Very
Thanks,
good.
Erwin.
Very good. Glad to be.
I'll tell you something about Erwin. When I was in New York back in the 60s, I invited Erwin may not even remember that, but I invited Erwin and Eddie for lunch. And this is in Manhattan. So I made some like tuna fish sandwiches and everything, and tomato and lettuce and everything like that. And we sat down, and they each took a couple of bites out of their sandwiches, and then they started talking about Baba. And about 3 hours later, they were still talking about Baba, and I looked down at those sandwiches. There were only a couple bites out of there. They'd basically left the sandwiches and just floated off into Baba's world.
I'm
Sweet.
surprised there was a couple of bites even. Those days.
They were so intoxicated with or obsessed with Baba that once they got going, they were no longer on Earth. The world
That's
of
Where's
was.
sandwiches.
Erwin Edward?
You know, there were some friends, there were a lot of young people at that time, we were all young. And they were, a lot of them were coming out of drugs, or they were trying to come out of drugs. And my brother Edward and I, we would be sitting and we start to talk about Baba and become electric. The place would become electric. And then they would ask us what we were taking. They said, you're so high that even we don't get that high. So Baba can do that, you know, when you're really focusing on him. And there's another thing. I used to see Harry Kenmore and some of the other men and women, Mandali, would actually, as they were expounding about Baba, they would begin to look more and more to capturing his features as they're talking. And, you know, you would see them and they would almost have the features of what Baba is, his own features, especially later in life. So that's what happens, you know, with anybody. The more you focus on, you know, there's men and women, when they are married for many, many years, begin to look like each other. You may have heard about that or seen it yourself.
Yeah.
But in the case of Baba, they love him so much that they begin to become more looking like whom they love. You see, you always are drawn to whom you love. When they say, well, what's going to happen to me when I get born again? I said, what do you think is going to happen? You're going to be in connection with the people that you love. You're going to end up with them. That's the law of the universe. You get what you love. You want something? If you love it, you get it. It may take a while, but that's what happens.
Well, it's certainly happening to you, Erwin.
What, dear?
I said it's certainly happening to you. I'm now that you mentioned it, the thought had crossed my mind before, but I never said it. But you know, you're kind of looking like him.
The only thing missing is the
Sometimes.
consciousness.
And the mustache.
Got the look, but not the consciousness to go with it. I need the consciousness to go with
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I know. You're not able to bring the complete package. You know.
You're in the Irwin package right now.
I'm waiting for Jeff to begin. Jeff loves Baba so much, you know. He does all these different times getting together with so many people and doing it. I'm waiting to see him turn into looking like Baba, you know, and then he can also say I look like him, but I don't have the consciousness to go with it. You need the consciousness to go with it.
Yeah. I mean, I have the plastic surgeon all lined up.
That's a good one.
But the consciousness,
He's getting ready. He's getting ready.
At least he's got the mustache well on its way.
yeah, Irwin,
That's
Irwin, you know, like really, give Baba a break and grow a mustache.
You know, probably, you know, I could do that, but you know what? Yeah, I'll tell you this. Baba instructed me, one of the things he told me is to take a close shave, take a close shave. So I've never grown a beard, and I am aloof from doing mustache or anything since he asked me to do that. Now, I don't know why some of the instructions is that he gives, you can't always tell, because Baba sees things way ahead that you don't even know that, you know, you don't know what kind of balancing of your sanskaras that he's doing, because he's got to balance them and wipe them out. Otherwise, how it stands in the way of your enlightenment. You can't be enlightened if you have things obstructing it. So he clears away these things that obstruct in order to let you see the truth for yourself. It's not like he gives you anything. It's just he has to make it possible for you to see it yourself. You know, so he has to clear away what stands in the way. That's the way it seems to work, like that.
Yeah.
Right.
Very good.
What else did he tell you, Irwin?
Well, I think we better let Irwin get some rest for tomorrow.
Oh no.
You know, isn't it? This here Zoom is so incredible. You know, we could talk to each other. It don't matter. Distance means nothing. It don't matter where you are. You can be 1,000 miles away. You can be next door in the same room. What, you know, like that. Because I see people when I used to go to the restaurant when they allowed it, and people would all be on the phones, on their cell phones. They'd be all sitting in the same table, maybe 3, 4 of them sitting in the same table, each one talking on their phone. You couldn't they didn't talk to each other. They only talked on the phone. You can only reach them if you call them on the phone.
Yeah, here we got it. See? Nobody's got any cell phones. Here we are.
And look what Baba has done. You know, years ago, he said that he created the media because he had a universal message to give to the world. Well, the media is used for entertainment, it's used for education, it's just used for all kinds of personal things that people talk to each other and chatter about. But there's a greater purpose for it, because as time goes by, the word of the masters, the avatar, spreads. And this media is just fantastic to do that. And Baba said it, that, like, how come there's a media? Thousands of years, there was no media. For practically all of the time, in the last 100 years or so, there's a media. And it was only right after Baba came into the world that he started to make these changes. So the last thing that he told me when I was leaving, one time I was heading back to the States, he said, distance means nothing to me. Time and space are no barriers for me. And then he said, I'll be with you wherever you are. Well, this is the case now for everybody. Here we are talking with each other, over thousands of miles. Distance means nothing. There is no distance in this electronic world. Time, space, it's all there. We have it.
Well, our
Yeah.
kids trained us, they held their little handheld devices. And nowadays the kids are coming and saying, Mom, Dad, get off your computer. Get off your phone.
Computer. Well,
Are you still Zooming?
Zooming. Since this coronavirus pandemic has been going on, it's a gift of God that there should be a means of communication and everybody can get together as a group, whereas you had to do it in a physical building. Now you can do it like we're doing it, just Zoom it and everybody is there together. It is really amazing that we can do this, and everybody has computers. Everybody, especially kids, boy, with the cell phones and everything, you can see anything, talk to anybody, to any part of the world that they're in. So this is something that came, if you have to have a pandemic, at least you have this, you're not isolated.
For sure.
Yeah, and if you want to know what the weather is like outside, you can just look on your iPhone. You don't even need to go out.
You can tell what the weather is outside in India, even if you're in the US.
Yeah.
And the India can know what's in Switzerland. They can know what's here. There it is, Everybody can know all of that if they want to know it.
Yeah, we even know what your temperature your AC is set on. We know that. 71 degrees right behind you there.
There's something behind me that tells the... now you can see more than I can. And you're there and I'm here. And he can see more.
Yeah. Yeah. They got some cobwebs over there too on the window.
Well, I'm sure that there are means now where you can control your temperature. You can see what's going on in your house. You can see anything, on your cell phone or at a distance and all of that. You know what Judy just did? She went like this. Which means
I know what that means.
Uh-oh.
I just thought we're going to see you tomorrow.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
I'll be here tomorrow. So
night. This is Judy.
I'll say good night.
Good
to
night,
you.
A
Jeff.
delight. A delight.
Good night,
Erwin.
Judy.
See, Judy?
Good night.
Yeah.
There you are.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Jai
Erwin,
Baba. Jai
Erwin,
Baba.
show up
Jai
anytime.
Baba.
Jai Baba.
Hey, Baba.
Jai Baba, Erwin. See you tomorrow. Thank you.
Okay, Jay
Show
Baba.
up, show up at any time, 10:30, every night.
Anytime. Every night?
Every night.
Every
Join
night.
us. We meet you here.
I never stay up this late, so I'm glad I didn't miss you tonight.
Yeah.
Miss Marilyn, she's our neighbor downstairs. I never see her except on the Zoom.
I know.
That's what you were saying.
I have to go on Zoom to see her.
Have to go down.
All right,
It's
okay.
true.
Okay, good night, everybody.
Good night.
Jai Baba.
Jai Baba.
Jai Baba. Jai Baba.
Meher Baba ki jai.
Ki Jai.
Air Baba.
Oh, this was a lovely session.
Yeah. That was superb.
Very nice.
Yeah. You gotta
Really.
bleed him dry every time he comes.
Yeah.
We want him to look. He should look pale after an evening with us.
Wow.
What
How
will
much
Judy
you
do
guys
it?
go at night? How late do you usually stay, you guys?
What's that?
How late do you usually stay?
I don't know. Sometimes we once stayed till 1:30 in the morning.
Wow. I don't know what it is with me, but I have a hard enough time getting up for Artie in the morning.
Yeah.
Wow. You probably don't get too much sleep, Jeff.
Yeah, I like fewer hours actually.
Do you stay at the center and sleep there still?
Yeah. Yep. I'm here.
Oh my God. So lucky.
Baba
How is
said,
the Baba Center doing?
What's that?
How's it going over there?
Yeah. I mean, I think the center misses all of you people. Really, it's in a peaceful state, but it doesn't have the animation of all of the kids and the nearby community and the guests coming.
Baba,
It's another dimension. I mean, you can really. I think by now the center has kind of gotten refreshed, and it's waiting for people to come back here.
Hmm.
Well, then it's time for us to start walking.
Yeah.
It's true. That'll be great. Sometimes I walk, in Briarcliff, and I'll pass by the gate where Dilruba is, and I stand there longingly. I'll take Baba's name, or I'll say the prayer. Very sweet. You feel the peace. You feel the peace there, and of course we try to build it in our own homes as well. So, because it's not without, it's within us. So we really have to learn that lesson. I think it's really what he wants.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I think it's really important. We all find it. I have to find it deeper and deeper, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and when you find it within, then it's all around you.
Yes, thank
Oddly
you.
enough.
that's definitely true. You find
Wow.
I just wanted to share something.
Yeah.
Something that Erwin said that this is my experience. He said that, of course, during Baba's time, the focus was on him and not on the mandali. And, they were there just to serve him. And and I felt the same. So this was my first trip to Mehrabad, and I had reached in the afternoon, and I think I've shared this before. And the next day, it was just after the Aarti, and people were putting flowers on the crypt of the mandali, and I was sitting there, and I said, "No, Baba, I don't think. I had also come from a different spiritual heritage, and I just thought it was just about me and Baba, and so I said, no, Baba, I don't want to know them. I don't really need to know them. I don't, I didn't want, I didn't want to put in effort." And just when I said that, and the Aarti had just gotten over, and people putting flowers in, and Indira, Indira, who's
Yeah.
So Indira, yes, Hardeep and her. Indira just came out of the samadhi. She had just put the flowers, and she had a bowl of flowers in her basket. And she called out to me, and she said, in a very firm way, in a pointed way, she called out to me, and she said, "You come here." She didn't say "you come here." She pointed to me, and she said, "But that's how I felt. You come here." And I looked around, and I said, maybe she's looking at the others, because it was a Sunday and the place was full. And she says, "No, you." She pointed to me, and she said, "You come here." And then she said, "Now take these flowers and put it on the crypt of all the mandali, the female mandalis." And that's that's the feeling I got, was that Baba is not going to tolerate this thought, And that's what I wanted to share.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Baba is so intimate. He can be so intimate at any moment, just to respond exactly to what you're thinking. Yeah.
Beautiful.
And the lovely thing about the mandali, to me, is they are a demonstration of how how to remember Baba. You know, and hey, any hints that we can, you know, any hints we find about how to live for Baba, how to remember him, is all helps us. I've received so much help just in observing them. The care that they took, the humor they had. I think if the mandala hadn't been there, I think I would have been far too serious and spiritually minded instead of deeply human, the way the mandali were.
You know, Jeff,
yeah.
that's what attracted me. I mean, oh my God, I got to India walking out of Self-Realization Fellowship Church, and I dare call it that because it became that, you know, more and more organized, you know, that people would sit in the pews, the monk would march in, everybody silent, and he would go up to the, you know, to the podium and conduct the meditation service and prayer, you know, whatever, the chanting and whatnot. And it became so religion-like, and I was just dying inside to just get away from that, you know. My motto was I wanted to find people who loved God with reckless abandon. You know, I just couldn't, you know, it was beautiful to many degrees, but it just wasn't pleasing to my heart to the extent that my heart was longing. And then I got to India and I met these beautiful souls that just emanated this incredible light, yet so human, so natural, so beautiful, and so loving and so accepting and so welcoming. You know, I was like, oh my God, thank you. This is the real thing. This is the real thing. You know, it's the next step. Obviously, Baba had me go through that experience in order to appreciate what they were all that much more.
Yeah. Yeah. They were all kind of independent. They were not part of an organization. They were kind of free of organization. They were just themselves.
Yep.
That's a beautiful thing. Yeah, when I went there, when I first went there, I thought I'm going to meet these very high spiritual souls who had spent their whole lives with Baba. And I was a little bit, you know, a little bit apprehensive about running into such souls. But when I got there, I found they were like my favorite aunts and uncles. I was so relieved. And they even called me by my childhood name, which they could not have known. They were all, it was lovely. And not just me, hundreds of us who went. And that, I was so relieved because I can understand what it's like to be natural and deeply human. But to be spiritual, you know, you have to have those experiences to understand them. But to be natural and deeply human, we all know what that is. It was all knowable. Yeah. Beautiful. Yeah. Pia, do you live in Bombay or Pune?
Delhi.
Huh?
Delhi.
Delhi. Oh, you're in Delhi. Oh, okay. Yeah. Wow. Rakesh, you missed Erwin Luck.
Oh, yeah.
You should get him to share sometime with the Bombay group.
I'll do that. I will do that.
He's got so many great stories of his time with Baba.
Yeah.
He'll keep you entertained and give you such a nice flavor of what it was like to be with Baba.
Yeah.
I'll see if I can get him to contact you.
That would be wonderful.
Great, great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would be wonderful.
Well worth it.
Jeff, I have one question for you. Last 2-3 days, I've been thinking of asking you.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions anymore?
Any more questions?
That's a good question.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I mean, I kind of learned early on to proceed with my heart and not my mind.
Yeah.
The mind has questions, the heart doesn't.
Yeah.
You know, it kind of has a way of moving, navigating through this world. And it doesn't actually have to have any answers. It just kind of tries to gravitate toward where the love is.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I don't
It
know.
all disappears. It all disappears. It just flows.
The one thing that there was a guy and I, when we were working at the center, the one thing we wanted to know, if we could ask Baba one question, is, you may not know this expression in English, where do dust bunnies come from? You know, the stuff underneath beds. You know, like we'd vacuum these, you know, these cabins and everything, and then 3 days later, there's more dust bunnies under the beds. You know, we needed to know where it was all coming from. No, no, I'm trying to think if I have any questions. That's an interesting. No one ever asked me that.
Yeah. Because what was happening? Like you used to ask, you know, everybody. I mean,
you know, Baba said. Here's an interesting thing that Baba said. Knowledge is knowing. This is Baba's words. Knowledge is knowing that there's nothing to know. You know, but yeah, I'm trying to think if I have any questions.
आज बहुत थे.
What's that? Oh. Yeah, I'll think about that.
Yeah. It's interesting.
I'll see.
सागर इधर चल झाड़ू कटका.
But you know, I did read God Speaks back in the early 70s, and back then it was very free around the tomb, and I read the entire God Speaks in the tomb. It took me a couple 3 weeks, and I read it, you know, word for word, and I read it to comprehend it. But after I was done, and I was not my type of reading, you know, I'm not drawn to reading metaphysics, but after I read that, I had no more questions as far as the mind. It shut the mind down as a vehicle for determining what life was about or what I was to do. That it just somehow, I don't know how, but that's not where to go. If I want to know what to do, I have to consult my heart. And it kind of, the reading, it was the most valuable book of Baba's I ever read for that reason. It shut down the motor of the mind as the arbiter of truth and knowledge. And I knew that I had to move my way with my heart through life.
Baba did say that he gave God Speaks to appease the convulsions of the mind.
Yeah. It put what can I say? It satisfied the convulsions of my mind.
It put it to rest.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now that you say that, I guess I feel the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The heart and the heart at the deepest level. There's the emotions and the feelings and wants and desires, they don't really move you in a direction that's fulfilling. They always require satisfaction, gratification. You know, even feelings need gratification. Love is in itself is fulfillment. Yeah.
But you must be having a desire of loving and giving out loud just more and more and more and more.
Yeah, let me think about that.
So that maybe nothing else matters. So other questions all disappear.
Yeah. That's an interesting thing. It's funny because I don't even think of these things. There is a thing that Baba used to say when somebody was saying, Baba, should I do this or should I do that? You know, and Baba would say, love would never ask that question.
Yeah. When
I would struggle about what to do, some of the major decisions in my life, it would go around in me, my mind and heart over and over again. And when the mind eventually stopped, the answer was clear. Love knew the answer. When the mind kind of ran its course.
That's very true, Jeff. Yeah.
But the thing is,
yeah, beautiful.
But the thing is that what makes decision making difficult. One time, someone said to Erich, "Now, how do I know whether if I do this thing, I'm pleasing Baba, or that thing would please Baba?" This is in Mandalay Hall. Erich said, "Whenever you're asking a question whether this would please Baba or that would please Baba, you can be sure that you've left Baba and come down to the level of the world." I mean, what my own inner dynamic is, I only have confusion about something because love is saying one thing and self-interest is saying another.
Yeah.
When the self-interest goes, love knows what to do. But sometimes the thing that's loving, that looks loving, is actually self-interest. And the thing that looks like it's self-interest is the love. That's the thing that makes it difficult. You know what I mean? Sometimes,
yeah,
you know, say, should I marry so-and-so? You know, now you really want, you know, one part of you saying, oh, I should marry that person. And the other person says, I don't know if I should. Now, what can I say? What does love have to say about it?
But that goes up to the mind then when you have decisions to make.
Yeah, but like I say, you've got both of them going and they're creating this mental and heart turmoil. Yeah. And you don't know whether you're supposed to marry this person, if that's what love wants, or not to marry him is what love wants. You know what I mean? They are, and it's not necessarily clear. You know, oh, well, I should love them. I mean, I should marry them because, you know, that's not necessarily the case. That's why whenever you have a turmoil, I always have to determine which one is which. What is love? If I can get to love, then the mind will quiet down.
How do you get to love? What is,
yeah.
How do you know that the answer is the answer of love?
I was just coming up with that.
Yeah, don't you end up in the mind again?
What's that?
Don't you end up in the mind right back to square one?
No. Once the mind's activity subsides, then you're in the state of love and it's obvious what to do.
Mm.
And sometimes, I mean, I would be going around for 3 days. One time, Bao Kalchuri wanted me to come there and live in India. And I initially said yes. And then I went through Does Baba want me to go to India? Is love calling me to India? Is Amanda asking me, is Baba speaking through the mandala? I went through torment for about a month and a half. And eventually the intellect or the mind subsided and it was clear. I said no. It took a long time. What I mean is it had to churn and churn and churn. I didn't make it. Go ahead.
No, please, you first.
Well, I was just saying that, I mean, you can make a decision before that happens, but I don't like to do that. I like to wait until I know. And like I say, love knows. If I can get to love and when the mind subsides. But you're going to say?
Man, I don't know. What you said was better. Well, you know, I guess we do. Somebody was saying the other day, we make like 1,500 decisions a day, minimum or more. You know, every little thing we do is like this or that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And ultimately, it turns out that what we do end up doing is what Baba's will is. You know, whether it is quote unquote the right thing or not from sometimes the wrong decision has to be made in order to give us the experience of what we need to go through in order to overcome. And in order to, you know, maybe balance some sanskara or whatever, you know, I mean, I've often put myself at his feet and asked for guidance and so forth. And then the decision that Baba and I end up making, turns out to be a very difficult path for me. But on the other side of it, I have found out that, oh my God, that Baba must have worked a ton of sanskaras off of me during that process. Yeah. So I felt like, you know, I have learned a lot, I've matured, and, you know, I'm stronger for it, and I can move forward with that experience and that knowing, because there's nothing more valuable in spiritual life than experience. You know, you can sit on your whatever, you know, like these preachers sometimes do, and they talk book knowledge, but it's not real life experience. You know, they can't bring it to life. So by being able to relate to people from an actual, oh yeah, I've been there, done that, I know it, maybe I can help.
Yeah. No, that's, I mean, of course, everything is Baba's will, and we're all growing. Even if we make a so-called wrong decision, we're going to grow. Baba especially makes it a learning experience, you know. But ideally, if we can prefer love over acting out of wants, we're going to move more quickly toward the realm of love, toward the divine. You know, because love dissolves impressions right and left, good and bad impressions. But sometimes you don't have the time and the state of mind to take the loving decision. You wind up making a good decision or a right decision, but not the loving decision. And it's, I have to do that sometimes. When love is not telling me what to do, my intuition's not telling me what to do, then I have to reach to do the good thing or the right thing. But they are more like formulas. They don't have the spontaneity of things done out of love. Mm-hmm. They're kind of sanskaric. So you're preferring good sanskars over binding sanskars.
And
but
Baba
love,
did say that a lot of our suffering is self-created, most of it.
Yeah. if we could, yeah,
99% of it.
yeah.
So Jeff, there's something like a difference in following the intuition and making a loving decision. The two different things.
No, they're one and the same.
It comes, yeah, it just comes out from the same source.
Yeah. And intuition is kind of the, maybe you might say the mental, explanation of what love wants. The mental, how can I say, I don't know how I would describe it, but it puts into words what your heart wants. Yeah. No, these things are all, getting these things right, getting these things clear makes for a harmonized life.
I think, Jeff,
yeah.
Yeah, whatever decision that one takes based on either intuition or as a response to your samskaric, your impressions, I think dilly-dallying is something that we should not be involved in. Once you take a decision, just stick to it and go forward, and then it'll help, learn things faster, or just continue doing whatever that basically path you took. Because I think somewhere I remember Baba said that don't try to dilly-dally. I mean, don't just keep going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, just go with it. I mean, gut feeling, and then that will help you in your progress, I guess.
So, someone said to Erich, remember in Mandalay Hall, should I don't know whether I should become a dentist or a doctor. What should I do about making that decision? Erich said, well, try being a dentist, and if you don't like it, then try being a doctor. Whoa, there are a lot of years involved in that, Erich. But in other words, you try the part on. Does it work? Does it fit? You play the role. Does it work? If it doesn't, you've learned something, and you try the other part. I mean, now that seems to be utterly impractical, but I mean, the idea was, you know, you can live either part and see which one fits best with your nature. And the guy wound up just working as a manager at Taco Bell. No,
I think you're right.
You know, I think he was smart.
Pia probably doesn't know Taco Bell, right? Kind of a cheap Mexican place. Shame.
That's a good one.
No,
but I think I remember. I mean, as I mentioned earlier, Baba was talking to some Western couple who came, and he said, "Just don't be on either side. I mean, just go with it, and that will help."
Yeah, yeah. Because sometimes if you make a decision, you go with it, and you play the part, and no, I don't like that, and then you can try the other.
Yeah, I mean, then you're convinced. Yeah, the other part is good.
Yeah. No, these are all, it's kind of fun, I think, to, to be put into these situations that are, really challenge your discernment and intuition and your want nature to see what the internal dynamic is in yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, so then when we go in the samadhi, like this is one of the first few things I learned, they tell us not to stand on the threshold. You be either this way or you come out or you go in, but don't stand on the threshold of the samadhi.
Yeah.
So when I started questioning people, so they told me, like, that includes in life, you go in or you go out. Don't stay on the threshold and keep hanging around. Take your time and just go in or just be out. And that's it.
Yeah. No, it's all amazing. I mean, Baba says that intuition is always 100% correct. I mean, imagine that we have something on us, on our premises, that knows. But then accessing intuition is the challenge. Separating separating it from the separating it from the deliverances of the mind. That's they have actually a different kind of vibration, but it's hard to get that refined to be able to tell the difference between a flash of intuition and a mental conclusion. Sometimes a mental conclusion seems much more confident and knowing, and it has all of the computer data printouts to support its decision. Yeah. Well, those are good questions, Rakesh. I mean, that's the kind of thing that we ask the Mandali. These very things. I mean, what I'm saying is, I sat around and this is the kind of thing that we asked.
Oh, so you had questions.
What's that?
So you had questions back then.
I did. I asked them, about the internal dynamics, like kind of what Rakesh just asked. Those are the kind of things that I wanted to get an answer to, but they're more experiential. You know what I mean? They're not just intellectual or academic questions. They're pointers on how to steer your boat through the busy harbor.
Yeah, Jeff. So the same thing used to happen with me. The answer, I mean, it just comes out when you experiencing something, And same goes with me when I was with the Mandali. I should sit, and I had no questions to even ask them. And whenever they spoke, with somebody else's question or maybe some story, some deep, very subtle message used to just come out, and the whole jigsaw puzzle used to come like it should just come together.
Yeah.
So I don't know the specific question or maybe to frame it together. It just you need to just get inside and just experience the whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think because the Mandali are in such proximity to the universal, meaning Baba, a lot of these seemingly ordinary and natural things impart deep truths, but it might just be, well, like with Pia there, Indra just kind of says, hey, you come and lay down the garlands and all of the women Mandali. It's like, there it is. It's kind of just demonstrated by her life with Baba. Her life with Baba gets her to ask Pia to, put these garlands down. Now, she didn't necessarily know that, but because belongs to Baba, she's connected to the universal, and she just unconsciously picks the right person. Pia, are you there? Are you? Oh, you are. Good.
Very much, very much.
You look so still. I thought maybe you were frozen. Yeah.
Just by what you're saying. But I have to say about intuition, this was my experience. I mean, one does get intuition every now and then, and they are in the forms of warning. But I did find that sometimes when I don't know how to express myself on this. There was a time when I was a bit worried as to when my father was going to pass away. I don't think I was worried, but and he was abroad and I was in India. But what did happen is during that phase, I would be intuitive about people who would die around me, and so much so I lost a friend. I lost a friend because she had a baby, and I looked at that baby and I said, this baby went to the hospital, and I said, I don't see this kid survive. And she was so upset. She said, how can you tell a mother? I was too much of a kid. I was in college. And I realized the mistake I made. And I knew when my father was going to pass away, and I kept telling my sister, and I couldn't tell the world that it's not a nice thing to say. But about a year after he passed away, this stopped. This experience of knowing about people who are going to pass away just went. Mm-hmm. So what I'm trying to say is sometimes, at least at that happened for many years till he didn't pass away. So it came to a rest after he passed away. So I'm saying that sometimes intuition works. It just I don't know how to explain it. It came up for a few years and then it closed. It was not required, and the lid was put on it. Yeah.
But just the lid, using it in that direction, but it can still function in very practical ways. But sometimes people, you kind of know the future things through intuition. But Baba, there was one old Mandali member of Baba who had a whole lot of powers, psychic powers, spiritual powers, before he heard of Baba. Then when he got into Baba, he said Baba put a curtain around him and he wasn't able to use any of those. Baba kind of nullified all of these powers that he had and abilities. And he was in this kind of the same boat as us, just remembering Baba and trying to be loving to others. And he's buried there at Lower Mehrabad. But
can everybody mute themselves? Can you hear that buzz going on?
Yeah, someone's buzzing.
Can you mute yourself, Janaki and Pia, and see if it goes?
Let's see. Now it's gone. Now, Janaki, you turn yours on and see if it was you.
Okay.
Jeff, which Mandali was that?
Dr. Kenmore, Dr. Harry Kenmore.
Yeah.
Must be Pia's.
Must be Pia then. Okay, thank you, Jeff.
Yeah, but I think we don't hear it now. Yeah. Wow.
Jeff, you know any stories about Dr. Camroy?
Yeah. I have shared it, a few stories about him here. I don't know if the rest of you have heard. I'll tell you one that I find very significant. Baba, in Life at Its Best, he says, he's talking about the grace of a perfect master. And he says it's a flash of the eternal in what is otherwise rigidly determined causation. It's the doing of something entirely new, the creation of the other utterly new. That's the definition of grace. It comes into the law of karma and it just changes it. It's not bound. So anyway, I'm just saying that because because it relates to what I'll tell you. Dr. Kenmore, I lived up there near him for almost a year, and had a great time. I mean, he was very valuable in my life. But when he was very popular in growing up in New York. He was kind of the embodiment of the boisterousness of New York. He in his school, he was like very popular. He was in drama. He was a singer in plays, drama. And then at age 16, he woke up one morning and he was blind. Now, his parents didn't tell him in advance that he had a condition that would one day lead to blindness. And he was very upset that with his parents. And his parents told him that now that he was blind, he should just do what a lot of the blind people do in Manhattan in New York, which is go around with a cart with rags and sell rags to people on the streets. And he felt so, so upset by his parents' reaction to his blindness that he left at 16. And he got into riding trains, hopping on trains. He would get some help and he would travel around, and he got into the circus. All this is going to make sense eventually. So he got into the circus and he would do singing and everything. He said he could even, he learned how to hypnotize a whole crowd of people. He said, you know, with certain tones and everything, he could actually hypnotize people. And he did this for a number of years. And then he came back to New York, and he decided he wanted to find out what career a blind person could do. And he had a friend who was studying chiropractics. So he decided to become a chiropractor. And his friend helped him reading the x-rays and everything, but he learned how to become a chiropractor. And he was very good. He got to the point where he could adjust people from a distance, remote control. You could stand there and you could hear your spine going into adjustment. But there was a lot of things I'll tell you about. But anyway, I wanted to say he was infuriated for being blind. He resented the fact that he was blind. I mean, obsessed with it, angry. Why did I become blind? Other people can see and I'm blind. And so at a certain point, he decided to meditate. Now, he was so intense that Harry, he went and meditated for 10 years, but for Harry, 10 years is about like 200 years for most people because he was so intense. And in the course of this meditation one time, he was in his office there, and suddenly he could see everything in his room. He could actually see in a certain heightened state of meditation. And what happened is that he got above his physical eye into his inner eye, which was not handicapped by the blindness. So in certain states of consciousness, of meditative states, he could see. And another thing he got into is he got into his past lives, and he could see his past lives. He could see the whole the whole logic of how lives unfold from lifetime to lifetime. And so he was very well, and he realized, looking at his lifetimes, he should not have been blind. He realized that his lifetimes did not lead to blindness, and he was infuriated all the more. And so then, because he was such a great chiropractor, what happened is that Margaret Krask, one of Baba's Mandali, went to him and Adele Wolkin, and through them he heard about Baba. So anyway, he came. he was with Baba. I think he met Baba first in New York, but then he came down. This is 1956. He came down and went in and had an interview with Baba in the Lagoon cabin, which is you know. And after, you know, the exchanges with Baba, he said, Baba, why did I become blind? Now, he's probably about 50 years old at this point, you know. And Baba gestured, I created your blindness. You were destined to become a world-renowned surgeon, but you wouldn't have had time for me. And that was the first time he ever accepted his blindness. And the implied is that, you know, if he was a world-renowned surgeon, he would have been in the beck and call of all the royalty and wealthy people of the world. And as it was, as a chiropractor, he used to be able to leave his practice and go work on Baba. After the second automobile accident, he worked on Baba for months in India. And I think that he was the one that enabled Baba to walk again. They said he would never walk again. But he used all of his talents, his abilities and skills to work on Baba. So going back to what I said in the beginning, divine grace is a flash of the eternal in what is otherwise rigidly determined causation. He looked at his rigidly determined causation, his past lives, and he should not have been blind. But divine grace it supersedes the law of cause and effect, or karma. But anyway, yeah. But sometime I'll tell you, you know, some of the times I had with him.
So you got to spend a year with him?
Yeah, I mean, you know, right in New York there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jeff, tell us one or two.
Who's that?
Oh, it's me. I'm still alive.
Oh, is that fair? Oh, I don't, all we see is just a bare room there. And
well, you don't really want me seeing my head on my pillow, do you?
Okay. Yeah, that's all right. Yeah. I'll just tell you one thing. No, I'll tell you one thing that, and I don't quite know how to describe it, but he told me he went through the fourth plane with the infinite powers and everything. I mean, he had all of those experiences, which he told me. I don't know if he told others, but he felt real close to me somehow. But one thing I did learn from him is, you know, and I don't know if it works for everybody, but before I went to see him, I was living in Seattle, and I was in the university district, and it was very druggy, and I would experience horrible headaches and pain up and down my spine. You know, it was just the you know, the vibrations were terrible, you know, in the college district, and it was a lot of pain and everything. And then I went to New York, and being around Harry, that all went away. And how it went away is, normally we try to protect ourselves energetically, but Harry, he didn't protect himself energetically. He flowed through everything. He just flowed through, you know, like there was no self-protection. He reversed, in other words, he was not a victim of anything. He got the flow powerful enough, his force field powerful enough that it flowed through everything. So he helped me with that. In other words, but I don't know if that would work for everybody. I mean, I think some people, they have to protect themselves. but but he basically said, just over love everything. Just whatever is out there, just bulldoze your way through it. I kind of imbibed that from him. So that you're not in a protective mode. You are in a, what can I say?
Flowing.
You're flowing powerfully out. Whatever happens to be there in front of you. But prior to that, I was getting hit by the vibrations of the druggy atmosphere around the University of Washington and all the college students. Anyway, that was just, first day was that, that's a little something.
Oh, it was awesome.
No, that there comes a time when you can reverse the current and just flow out through everything.
Yes.
And he helped me with that, and I've never had a problem with that since. I mean, there's a heaviness I have to deal with, but not the sharp pain of things coming from outside. I mean, it was excruciating. I mean, like electric shocks on my body. Yeah.
That's very nice.
Well, I'll tell you one last thing, and then I got to go. Oh my God, it's 12:30. How'd that happen? Oh, Erwin, completely. It was Erwin's fault. You know, when I went out there to New York, I was, you know, I mean, for years I was thinking of being a writer, and, you know, and I would kind of write, but I'd never show anything to anybody, and I could never really complete anything. And I mean, I'm talking about like a novelist or a poet and everything. And I filled up notebooks and stuff like that, but I never showed anybody, and I didn't feel confident in everything. But I did want to be a writer. And so one of the early times I was with a doctor, he said, you know, he said to me, and a lot of people there, he said, what do you want to be in life? And I said, I want to be a writer, maybe write novels. He said, do you love writing? That plunged me into a very deep state. Inside I was thinking, do I love writing? I looked up and I said, no. It wasn't going forward because I didn't actually love writing. It was something I felt, you know, it would be good to do, but I didn't have the love for it. Yet he said, if you loved writing, you would be even writing on the napkins in restaurants. You would be scribbling on everything. That very fundamental question freed me up from years of depression, I would say. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. But now, Farishte, you're loving writing, and just keep translating Hafiz there.
I do enjoy it.
Yeah.
I do very much. Yeah.
You got it. Yeah. Well, I think, you know, Prakash is, you know, he's thinking about brushing his teeth and on his pajamas. And yeah, Payam, are you still around? You're there. And Nasreen, are you there? Wasn't that nice to hear Erwin there? That was fantastic.
Everything.
Yeah, yeah.
Amazing night.
Rakesh, did you hear Erwin there?
No, I missed
you missed him, yeah.
No, I missed.
All right, see you guys then. Jai
Yeah,
Baba.
see you guys. See you, Martha.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you.
Marilyn.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much,
Martha.
everybody.
Thank you, Baba.
Marge.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Jai Baba.
Yeah, Pia.
Thank you, Prakash. Thank you, everybody.
Sleep with Baba.
Okay.
Or awake with
will.
Baba. Yeah.
Jai Baba. Good night.
Jai Baba. Good night, Jeff. Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Sweet dreams. Have a good day in India.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Baba.
Thank you, Baba.